The last rays of the evening sun painted the countryside in warm, golden light as the train pulled into the station. This was no ordinary train. Its polished wooden carriages and gleaming brass details whispered of a time long past. A journey like no other. For those who boarded, it wasn't just a trip. It was an escape, a passage into peace and tranquility. Inside, the train hummed with quiet elegance. Soft lamplight illuminated seats of deep velvet, each carefully positioned to provide the perfect view of the world outside. The conductor, a kind-faced man, with a neatly pressed uniform, tipped his hat to every passenger, ensuring their comfort. This train was more than transport. It was a promise of calm, a sanctuary for weary travellers seeking a respite from the day. Tonight, the journey promised something even more special. Beyond the hills and valleys, beneath the rising moon, lay a world where time slowed, where dreams took shape, and where the gentle rhythm of the train's motion could lull even the busiest mind into serene stillness. The whistle blew softly, and the train began to move. The train eased out of the station, its wheels settling into a steady rhythm, a sound as old as the rails themselves. Outside the wide windows, the countryside opened up. Rolling fields bathed in the soft light of dusk. The air inside the carriage carried a hint of lavender, mingling with the faint aroma of polished wood and freshly brewed tea. An attendant moved quietly down the aisle, offering cups of chamomile tea, their steam curling up into delicate spirals. You accepted one, feeling its warmth seep into your hands as you gazed at the landscape. Beyond the glass, the hills seemed alive. Their slopes were dotted with sheep, their wool glowing faintly in the fading light. A river meandered through the valley, catching the sunlight's rays and reflecting them into a ribbon of liquid gold. It was the kind of scene that made time itself feel slower, more generous. As the train rounded a gentle bend, the hills gave way to a sprawling meadow. Wildflowers in every hue swayed in the evening breeze. Yellow buttercups, blue cornflowers, and tiny white daisies that seemed to sparkle like stars in the grass. A family of deer stood at the edge of the meadow, their graceful silhouettes framed by the deepening twilight. The passengers in the carriage were quiet, absorbed in their own moments of reflection. Some read softly lit books, while others simply stared out the window, their thoughts carried away by the rhythmic sway of the train. The meadow faded into a dense forest, the train slipping silently beneath a canopy of towering trees. Shafts of silver moonlight pierced through the leaves, creating shifting patterns of light and shadow on the forest floor. Somewhere in the distance, the soft hoot of an owl echoed, adding a layer of mystery to the journey. When the forest gave way, the train slowed slightly as it approached a small village. Its cobblestone streets were lined with thatched roofed cottages, their windows glowing with warm golden light. Smoke curled lazily from the chimneys, and the faint toll of a church bell marked the hour. The train rolled past a stone bridge arching over a bubbling brook. Beneath it, children played, their laughter light and carefree. Villagers waved at the passing train, their smiles genuine, as if the sight of the carriages brought them quiet joy. The train lingered here for a moment, its pace unhurried before continuing on its way. The village lights grew smaller in the distance, replaced by the vast open countryside once more. By now, the sky had transformed into a deep indigo, scattered with stars that shimmered like diamonds. The train moved steadily, its rhythm as calming as a lullaby. A lake appeared on the horizon, its surface perfectly still, mirroring the starlit sky above. Fireflies danced along the edges of the lake, their tiny lights flickering like sparks of magic. The train glided past quietly, as if not to disturb the peaceful scene. Inside the carriage, the atmosphere had grown even more serene. Softly lit lamps cast a warm glow, their light mingling with the silver of the moon. Passengers wrapped themselves in blankets, their eyes growing heavy as the train rocked gently from side to side. The landscape began to shift subtly, taking on an almost ethereal quality. The hills shimmered under the starlight, their edges soft and blurred, as if the train had crossed into another realm entirely. The forest that followed glowed faintly, its trees bathed in a otherworldly silver light. Ahead, a station appeared, but this one was unlike any other. It seemed to float in the starlight. Its platform glowed softly. The train slowed, the wheels whispering over the tracks as it came to a gentle stop. The conductor appeared once more, his voice low and soothing. This station marks the boundary of dreams. You may disembark here or continue deeper into the night. The choice, of course, is yours. But the train was warm, and its motion was soothing. You decide to stay, letting it carry you further into the peaceful unknown. The train began to move again, its rhythm as steady as a heartbeat. The soft hum of the wheels, the glow of the lamps, and the gentle sway of the carriage blended into the perfect lullaby. The stars outside blurred into a gentle haze, and the countryside became a comforting canvas of dark shapes and soft edges. The world outside faded, and all that remained was the warmth of your seat, the softness of your blanket, and the deep sense of peace that filled the carriage. Your eyes grew heavier and your breath slowed. The train would carry you onward, gliding smoothly through the night, guiding you towards restful dreams. And as you drifted off, it promised to keep you safe, wrapped in the quiet rhythm of its timeless journey.